Pow Wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. It's power number 17, and I'm super excited to be with you guys today. Last Thursday night, we talked about SwissBorg, CHSB token, and future of it. Some of you guys were extremely excited about what's going to be the future of the CHSB token, and some of you got a little bit confused about the yield and were a bit pessimistic. What I like the most about what it is that you always have both sides, the yin and the yang. And in this powwow, we're going to dive into essentially the future of the CHSB, understand what has made it successful, how can we repeat this cycle, and then going forward, how can we decentralize it, give it a new purposes, attract more communities, and grow. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fazel. I'm the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. On the agenda, it's about CHSB, the yield program, protect and choose and governance, the hero score, new utilities with alpha opportunity that'll be very small because we'll make an entire powwow just on that, a roadmap, and a recap. So stick in and enjoy the ride. So as we know, the CHSB, the strategic plan for the 4 pillars of success has always been increase token utilities, participate in an approach to defining the future of the token, long-term sustainability from the economic perspective, and increase availability through new listing and attracting new communities, right? So fundamentally bring utilities, then make sure that people have governance and really able to appropriate really the future of what we're doing, right? And this is one of the strongest utility. Then obviously try to look at the long run, how we as an ecosystem grow and how the CHSB token actually grows with itself. And last but not least is how we attract lovely communities such as yours, but as well people in the DeFi, people who may be in the GameFi, SocialFi, in different centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges. So these are really the 4 pillars for success. If there's any more pillars than that, please let me know in the comments and be looking towards bringing this 5th pillar into action. So let's go some statistics. Crypto wealth manager in Europe. Today, we're one of the best, if not the number one. 152,000 token holders, which is great. Some whales in the sea, but roughly we have almost 90% of the total supply that's controlled, that people have less than 250,000 tokens, $250,000 worth of tokens. So it is actually widespread between dolphins, fishes, and everyone. So that's something that's really, really good. In order to get into the top 50, we need to do almost, roughly to do 6x right now. So that is a lot of work. And I would say what is very interesting here is that we are actually at over 90% down of all-time highs. And this is something that's very important, because I never say that history repeats, but it rhymes. If you look at 2018, when we got listed around 10 cents, I went to 12 cents and then way down to less than a cent. After, when you released the app, went from 1 cent to 10 cents, and then eventually 10 cents to 20 cents, and 20 cents, 50 to $1, $1 to 150, 150 back to $1, and then it went back now to where we are today, around 17 cents. And I think so what is very important is that when you do look carefully for great projects, it's always very important to, of course, invest in the best way, but as well to DCA. And I remind people that did DCA in 2018, 19, and 20, they did extremely well. That when they got to 10 cents or 8 cents, which was like the average price from our ICO, they already did a big profit, because even if they bought the token at 8 cents, they bought some back at 5 cents, 3 cents, 2 cents, and 1 cent. And that enabled them to already be in the green when 10 cents. And I think so this has to be healthy habits and to become wealthy. This is a good way to see things. If you bought, for example, SwissBorg token at, let's say, 1 franc today, and you have, of course, the cash available, and you still believe in this project, same for Bitcoin, same for Ethereum, I really encourage people to look carefully and say, like, well, if I believe in this future, probably dollar cost average is a very good strategy for me to lower down that entry price that you got into. And talking about perspective, if we get to grow as Binance, which is really possible, that means our token will be at $56. And if we got to grow as big as OKX token, well, we'll be at $3.25 at the current price today. So there's a lot of room for improvement. Of course, make sure that you do your own research and you're smart while you're investing. So the big strategy plan is how we go from a centralized model to decentralize it. This is what we talked over the presentation on Thursday, but I'd like to repeat again, why do we need to do this? Is we need to increase the range of utilities. And by doing that is DeFi integration, building dApps that have maybe the SwissBorg token as a way to, interact with those dApps. Reaching new communities, besides from the DeFi, is listing with tier 1 exchanges. We have removed the yield because essentially a lot of different other sexes were saying this was a disadvantage for them to list our token. So this was one of the reasons we delisted, essentially. I mean, we stopped for the time being the centralized yield on SwissBorg token, which is very important. Then obviously is to increase essentially on-chain liquidity through Uniswap, but as well different dexes. I cannot talk too much about it because the Aurélien and the whole DeFi team would be sad about it. Then is to really provide, a sustainable reward mechanism. And this is very, very important. The hero score that we'll talk about more, it's not a game. It's how you become healthy habits, become wealthier. How that you increase essentially your IQ investments in order to get better at what you're doing to become wealthier. Then DeFi yield is something that we really need to bring in. Is how to get the SwissBorg token in different liquidity pools, in different decentralized financial protocols, where anyone could actually make a yield out of it through the SwissBorg app, through as well essentially any DeFi protocol. So this is something very important that will only give a healthy essentially volume to it, but as well a very healthy usage, which a lot of different centralized exchanges have asked us in order to bring real decentralization, and even more importantly, to get to our mission, right, which is to decentralize eventually nations. Lay a better foundation for the governance of the DEO. I think this is crucial, is how you could essentially have a treasury pot that's completely independent, and how this could lead to have a lot of different teams that could be completely independent, build dApps, build tokens, or just build a lot of growth ways or educational platforms for SwissBorg to grow within countries or within any different type of Web3 applications. So this is something that's very important, and that what goes with this governance is the Protect and Choose 2.0 that we were just about to talk about it, and we launched it already 2 days ago. So yield program, we put it on pause, the centralized yield program. But it doesn't mean we won't have a yield going forward. This is exactly what we need to do, is essentially to decentralize it. So this flower is going to be more beautiful than ever. The YODL strategy will continue. Some people felt a bit hurt about saying like, oh, I came in for this reason. It's just a pause, for a healthy pause, to be able then to go for a big bounce. It's much more important to do that just to continue that something essentially is not sustainable and it's not bringing a lot of value to SwissBorg token and to SwissBorg token holders. So this is exactly why we stopped it, and how we'll be able to, again, bring these beautiful photos to YODL. It will happen in the near future. So CHSB governance, which is really one of the best. I love the new terms that we bring to this, really making the guardians of our wonderful SwissBorg ecosystem. I mean, Borger's Guardian, I think so super cool. What I like so much is really for the foundation of building this DAO is giving you guys on a monthly basis a way to interact by voting on the Protect and Choose, which is essentially what people have done recently is to vote if you guys are keeping this as a yield. So you could take some of the tokens and you'll keep it and it'll be rewarded based on your hero score. We'll talk about that later. Second is about burning him, and third is about putting it into a pool that will protect your funds if ever there's a problem, right? So safety nets. And I think so. These are really 3 nice ways to bring a strong governance model and to bring a way that you could say what you feel is the best. So I think so. This is something that is very, very exciting. What is new about it is as well is that it's on a monthly basis and it's based on a community index. So on a monthly basis, we'll take every day's month every week we'll take the community index, and essentially we'll create a score at the end of the month, and that will enable you to calculate the number of the pots that will go to essentially this protect and choose, and then you'll decide on what you believe is the best. And talking about this, let's look what has happened. So the last 4 weeks, we saw that the average of the 4 Pow Wows was 6.6, which was a very good one, by the way, for the month of March, which was really awesome. I hope the month of April will be as high. The formula was $75,000 plus 66%, which times $75,000, which is essentially $124,000. So the next protect and choose, which just happened, is 830,000 CHSB token. And talking about that, you have almost 9,000 people who have participated so far for the protect and choose. And essentially the burn, you guys all agreed, I agreed to some percentage as well, that it went into burn. That was the main category, 46%. Then the reward was 28%. So you're essentially getting yield on that. And the safety net, there's 25% that went to the safety net, which I think, so it's really, really good. And the interesting results about this is, try to make a guess. Who has contributed the highest to the burn? As you can see here, our francophonie or French users are really the revolutionary, vive la révolution, are the ones who wanted the strongest burn, which different from the others, which, for example, much less than that. But overall, I really believe that this is the way to going forward, is how we could democratically participate in the future of our wonderful token and ecosystem. So what's the safety net about? Of course, the safety net will be to build a new pot that will enable us to, if black swans happen, well, then it'll be able to reimburse people from that pot, I think, so, which is really good. And we'll communicate future on exactly how this will happen. And the burn has happened. Indeed, the burn has happened, and I think so this is great. You obviously will see the transaction done very shortly. Hero Score, the Hero Score program. The Hero Score, and I get it. A lot of people have tweeted, like, I don't want to play a video game. I don't think so fun, fair, and community-centric is at least the fun part is not the most important. Well, I can tell you one thing, guys, is that we as species, as humans, we spend over a big portion of our time trying to have fun. And the more we see how things evolve, the more we see this all about entertainment, right? Like, how did people would watch Pow Wows back with a financial wealth management company? That would never happen. The more we're growing into society, more that we want to have this hedonic type of pleasure of bringing things like social media. It's all based on that. And fun does not mean it's a comic. Fun does not mean it's a video game. Fun does not mean that this is childish, right? Fun means that it's a place where you feel you're safe, and you feel that you start to improve with the community, you start to improve yourself, and you start to sometimes laugh and sometimes enjoy it. Because if I was talking like this all the time, and I'll be like, oh, it wouldn't be that fun. You have to express your feeling. You have to smile. Come on, smile. It's easy to smile. It's not that difficult. Make it a game. Just smile and say fun, fair, and community-centric. It's really important. So this is not about wealth. It's about finding its value, finding yourself, then finding value and investing into the value, and hopefully growing that value over time to make sure you're contributing to a future perspective that you believe in and you think is important. This is what wealth is all about, right? And the fun part is, how do you get to be better at it, right? How do you go from that white belt to that black belt, right? You have a lot of gamifications in the most serious martial arts. And it's how you get to that black belt. And this is exactly what I think we should get into the Hero Score, is how do you get that white belt, that green belt, blue belt, brown belt, red belt, black belt? How do you get to those different stages? And how do you remain a black belt? Because that's usually the hardest point. So that's why we want to have different seasons that'll have different iterations that will change. And this is exactly the whole point. And again, I love the comments here about trying to say, this is serious, we don't want games. But really, again, what we want to do is strengthen the CHSB, the whole SwissBorg ecosystem. We want to reward active and loyal community members. And make sure that we have strong recognition for the effort that people are putting into it. This is something that's very important. That's extremely, extremely important. And you know, by unleashing your inner hero, you'll be able to have, you know, some cash back in SwissBorg tokens or more yield. So essentially the yield will be passing into some of this program to some extent. You'll have different opportunities in the alpha. We talked about that. You'll potentially have airdrops. You have layer voice. We thought about as well for the referrals earlier that you could have maybe new things to be unlocked as, you know, the referrals are happening. So if you have like a strong hero score and you're inviting people, that probably you're the invitee and the people giving the referral, they both will have like a better reward because we know that this person is really working hard at this. And this is the great meritocratic way that we strongly believe in. And I hope that you guys believe in that too, because this is exactly what's missing the society today, right? We went from this CHSB, you know, completely capitalistic to more like try to give a more hedonistic social way. And this now is completely purely meritocratic, right? And it has that capitalistic way, it has that social way, it has that meritocratic way, that combines together. So that's why I'm strongly convinced that this model is really going to play very well. And the breakout to the hero score right now, it's based on not what you're doing social media, it's really based on what you're doing into the app. So buying whole CHSB, for example, what's the CHSB balance? What is your premium tier? So the higher the balance of CHSB, the higher is going to be your premium score, right? Then are you using the flagship products? That counts for 1/3, right? So if you, for example, your earn balance, the thematic balance, are you really investing in a smart way or not? Right? Are you doing, like, if you're just retaining your assets on SwissBorg and they're not going into yield or not putting this into the thematic deck, it's a very good way to just passively be investing to the best projects. Most probably you won't have the best, essentially, experience possible. And the last is, it's all about the time you were with us, being loyal, time as premium, and how you've been interacting. And I think so this is exactly how, again, we could bring something new. And of course, this it'll be challenged, it'll be tested, and, you know, we'll make the changes for the different competitions. But it's the best way for us to grow as a beautiful ecosystem. And if you haven't opted in yet, it's right now, guys. So please do it. You already have almost 9,000 people that have opted in, which is really, really great. The program starts next Monday with 15,000 MV airdrop to boost. So please do that. And the reason why people should join, of course, the rewards is going to happen. Help on the SwissBorg ecosystem to grow, to become a better investor, to learn about SwissBorg projects. This is exactly why people have been joined. And this is things, so it's really great. It shows how we as a community, of course, people want rewards, but people want to grow the ecosystem, which is beautiful. People want to become a better investors, and they just want to learn more about SwissBorg products in general. So this really shows, again, that people are super excited. That's 9,000 people. Let's get to 20,000 people by the end of this month. Talking about CHSB, some data, there's some growth again on the premium, which is really good. It shows that even in difficult times, people are getting to buy premiums, which is fantastic. Maybe lower cost of entry, which is great. We're getting almost 151,000, token holders in the app. And very, very importantly, we lost 10% from the bloodbath of Thursday, Friday. But at the end, it's not that bad because the market has actually lost 5-6%. So overall, people were a little bit over pessimistic, but I think so now we're understanding. And I hope that today this explains you that this is great for the future. Which brings us to the community index, the DEX. Unfortunately, not a good one. CHSB going well, volume in the app going well, but the app activity, not too well. Social media actually going down, invitations going down. So you guys know what to do. Make some noise, invite your friends, and make sure that you're looking through the app. Which, talking, by the way, there's some cool new stuff to be discovered. Talked about what's happening, but what's the future? And I think so the future is what always is the most important. The future is green, you know what I mean? But the future is bright too, and we should hold it tight. And for that, we always have to prone the long-term sustainability of our ecosystem. The short-term growth will happen. They'll have, we'll have those pumps that will happen, and it'll be always fun to see. But we need to have, how do we build the long-term sustainability? And we've seen this with Ethereum, for example, that things going extremely slow. But when they anchor and when the merge even happens in 3-4 times, just sticks on, and how this differential token is working well. And we really need to learn and be able to build this way to earn for the long run. And that's exactly what SwissBorg token is. And this is why this crazy roadmap is just, the strong beginning. So the Guardians just has happened. The Hero Score opting in right now. Hopefully we'll get over 20,000 people there. The end of the yield is happening on May 1st. But of course, we'll bring things in the future for this. The alpha opportunity will happen in the month of May. And already this will be a great way for SwissBorg ecosystem to participate in amazing deals. But we have much more to come. This is only what's happening in the next 30 days. The big change that we have to bring is, how do we get to SwissBorg Nation, right? The SwissBorg DAO, how do we create a foundation in Switzerland that's completely independent from SwissBorg, that has its own treasury pot, that could really be able to elect its own members, like the Federal Council and Federal and National Council, and then be able to interact as you really believe in. And for that, I would like to have a smart cafe, talk with you guys very soon about this. I think this is a very important point. We will have as well different alpha opportunities, which will only be for those that, of course, are premium and have a hero score in the app. And last but not least, this is where it's going to happen, is CHSB upgrade. We know that the smart contract has to be updated. For this, there's a lot to be done on the decentralized part. Then after, when this is going to be upgraded, we know that we're going to have a big place into DeFi, listing on top tier exchanges, bringing liquidity into DeFi on multi-chains. We potentially want to do this, have on-chain governance as well, and bring finally what you need the list is a sustainable yield. And we're not talking about 2024 here. This is a roadmap of 2023. We hope to deliver most of this by the end of Q3. So this is where it gets really interesting, and why I'm so bullish about the future. So one more thing that's very important. A lot of people are not too sure about, like, why should not keep the CHSB token name, and why should we migrate to a new name called Borg? I already mentioned this. CHSB, I think so. I came up with this name. I'm not sure, but I think so. And CH stands for Switzerland, and SB for SwissBorg. So first, in terms of marketing, CHSB, it's very hard to pronounce. I hear people say CBH, HSBC, CHB, and it's very hard to pronounce. So people don't necessarily have this thing like, oh, what's CHSB? So this is the first reason. Second, by doing the migration of this new update of this new token, well, essentially what we have to be considering is that we might have two tokens, at least smart contracts, right? They won't, even if it's just an upgrade, they'll have a different smart contract. So if you're into DeFi and you're on Uniswap, you could potentially still have other tokens if people haven't changed those tokens. So it might be a bit confusing to have those two tokens, or these two contracts, sorry, at least. So this could be a way that this could penalize us. So this was the main reason why we wanted to change. And then, of course, it's quite cool to rebrand a bit yourself time to time. I think so. It's very cool to keep the essence of it, like SwissBorg. And then, so the idea is why not being Borg? Borg is something that's easy. It has a beautiful connotation. It means castle in Swedish. It means, I think so, homes in different other culture. Borg from Star Trek as well. It's that AI that's connecting everyone in the minds and whatsoever. Of course, SwissBorg has Borg in it, so that makes a lot of sense. At the end, most importantly, Borg is the cyborg, which has been the vision of SwissBorg, is how we, as augmented species, gets to be interconnected and have a more beautiful and great future together, thanks to technology and thanks to the Swiss meritocratic system that's put in place. So, all in all, it's us to choose, right? You guys are token holders, and I think so. There is some voting that's going on, and of course you could continue to vote. I still believe it's a good way to bring some novelty and marketing wise and technically wise. There's a lot of different reasons why this new board could help us to grow. So please comment here and let us know what you think in the comments. Last but not least, fast forward, our goal is to be on, in the top 50 on CoinMarketCap. This seems like right now is very difficult because we're at 180 or 170, not exactly sure. But hey, we were back 500 and we got to 60-ish, and we remain in that top 100 for some time. I think so. We really need to work harder in order to get back to the top 100 and then the top 50. But the good thing, what I know, is that we work hard at SwissBorg, and you community members are the most loyal, amazing people. You voice up, which is very important, and you get to make us better as people, get to be better as Borgers. And I think so. This is the beauty of how I know we will prevail, and that we'll get, and we won't stop until we reach that beautiful top. So yeah, that's our goal, and we will get there. Beautiful Borgers. Again, I wanted to thank everyone for last week, for believing the future of SwissBorg token. I strongly believe that with every changes, we always have some resistance. We always have some fear about, what's the future? If we take out some rights or from some features, is that something that we feel good about? Of course not. We feel a bit entitled, and that's a great thing. I really believe that SwissBorg token belongs to you guys. It belongs to us as community members. And whatever there's things that, make you unhappy, I love that the fact you're voicing. And I think so. This is exactly what we should be doing, is always to find ways to how to bring more value and in order to build a more sustainable way. Right now, what we strongly believe what we need to do is how we go from the beautiful centralized token to decentralized in the best way possible by bringing a lot of value to our dear token holders, but more importantly, to our dear future community members. Those that are in the app and those are not in the app. A lot of people that I strongly believe should be actually participating in the governance of our SwissBorg token without being in the app, right? And be able to maybe as well get to be premium without being in the app in the future, right? Because we cannot always think about that the world will be based on a centralized model of intranets. So far, SwissBorg has been done one of the best, if not the best app that gives you a simple, secure community way to build your wealth in crypto, right? But it doesn't embrace completely the whole Web3 features. It's not decentralized yet. It's not into different decentralized pools. It's not into Aave and all these different systems. So this is where we have to start going in order to attract more community members that don't necessarily want to be in the app yet, and as well to get bigger, potentially dolphins and maybe whales to participate in our governance going forward. And that could really enable us to grow, organically in a Web3 matter. I think so. This is something that's very important. So I literally look forward to the next days of the protect and choose, but the hero score, how this is going to bring more meritocratic way to be earning, to be making sure that you are participating in the best alpha products, the best way to get rewarded, and the best way to just improve yourself as a human being, get to be healthy and wealthy. As always, guys, be healthy, be wealthy, love our CHSB, and now liquidity. Take care, guys. Bye.
Through SwissBorg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you zero fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.